Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things Warhammer Old World. I'm one of your hosts, Gommo, and I'm here as usual with Andrew and Josh. How's everyone going?
Good, thank you.
Managing,
slightly recovering like I am still.
Yes.
3 weeks
yes.
in. So I'm going to be hitting mute, people. So dry cough still.
I just did.
Freaking annoying. Yeah. And I noticed I was away last week.
It's going around.
And up Port Douglas, and it's like nice, it's 28 degrees, and I felt like I wasn't coughing as much. Came home, hit me.
Came back.
I think it's the cold. And we're supposed to have like an Arctic freeze thing this week or so.
It's getting so cold.
Are you getting that, Josh? Is that really cold down there?
It's been cold like all week. Last 2 weeks, it's been icy blasts and rain. It's been raining like the last 3 days constantly, pretty much.
Or sleet and snow.
I'm starting to forget what the sun looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to the snow in like a month, for a few days, and I'm like, I'm glad it's sort of happening because it's like I've been watching the snow things, and it's like it's rubbish. I'm like, hopefully this week, next couple of weeks, it'll get a good a dusting. But anyway, that's all cool. But I'm excited because, and I even recorded a video for YouTube this morning. We finally got something to talk about. It's Old World, even though it's back to just like a preview article, well, pre-release article, but we've got the Dwarfs finally coming this week. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's just, actually, we just interrupted the podcast there for a breaking news. Andrew and I actually put together a video on the Old World Almanack that just dropped, obviously after we recorded the podcast that you were just looking at. So somewhere up there, somehow I'll put a link or a card to the video that Andrew and I did on reviewing that in case you don't want to wait till next week's podcast episode. So anyway, back to our usual programming. We've known everything that we're going to know since since April or whatever it was, and we haven't heard anything else. So it's actually exciting. I said in this video at the end, like the most exciting thing almost isn't the Dwarfs. It's that whatever they tell us next is going to be something new that we don't know about. Like, because we just, So that, like, I don't know.
That's true.
Like,
I don't know what's going to happen now. The world's at oyster.
We found out orcs pretty quickly in the whole thing. And even when they hadn't even released orcs, they told us about dwarfs. But then it's just nothing.
Yeah, but
it could be any of the other ones. So
is that a good side or a bad side? Would you say?
Maybe they're patching up the leaky ship.
Yes, very optimistic way of looking at it. Could be anything.
Could be.
But if it's the 4 to 6 months between the announcement and when it finally gets released,
I don't think it will be. I mean, I think that's mainly the whole, their end of their financial year plus AOS coming out. I reckon that'd
be a big deal. AOS.
Do you think they could end up announcing the next one and then release it like 6 weeks later?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And the other, they won't have a big game release next year. They've had 40K last year, AOS this year, nothing next year. So, like, I really hope that pushes a lot of... Yeah, you know what I mean? Like 2025. So I really hope that pushes Old World and, like, and Horus Heresy and some of the other minor games to get some releases out.
I'd be hoping for a couple more releases this year.
Oh, ideally. No, totally. I'm just saying, like, I don't think they're going to, like, wait 4 months for another one and then 4 months is the beginning of 2025. And then, I think that they'll get these out.
At least 2 more after Dwarves.
This year?
Good for this year,
Be nice to get, one round.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, it's just July and we've had 4. So, I mean, geez, it'd be good if they could get at least 2 out in 6 months. I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least 3 of them. We might not see it and order the 3rd one, but we might see it.
It's funny that you say 4. Doesn't feel like it. I think it's because the first one came out with the release of the game. So in my head I didn't count them, but you're right. It is 4.
It's 4 from effectively February to July. So
that's actually.
And I would imagine these releases aren't as big as the first 2 box ones. They're bigger. I think they have the rule books and Anyway, well, we'll chat about that one, which is going to be cool. Before I get onto that, though, I'll just do my usual ramblings, and then I'll actually have a chat about that as well. So for those who don't know, we have a Patreon, and they basically help us, I guess they support us in keeping the show going. So before we start, we'd like to just give them a quick shout out. You can also join that on patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. But basically it's just a $2 a month charge that goes to help us produce the show and some of the YouTube videos we do. And before we kick off our podcast, we like to just give those guys and girls a bit of a shout out. Basically that's what they get. You also do get like access to a private Discord channel on our Australian Discord group and things like that. But really it's just a token amount just to sort of help us a little bit. So a big thank you to, we've got Sexy, we've got Jelly, Contrasting Hobby, Herald of the Old World, Keel Herd, David Lancaster, Tom, Matthew Klein, Thumper, Matt Morris, Thomas Vavasow, Griff, Jess Tors, Wood Duck, Naninuium, I can never pronounce that, Daniel Broadstock, Jonathan Wengler, Elliot Mitchum, Chris Turnbull, Gilthos Draconos, Julian Diesel, Cameron Atkinson, Denny Gamer, William Payne, Robert Z, my fat ramjet. It's a little rocket.
Nice.
My fat ramjet. Andrew Harris, Bobby Gherkin, Gunwitch, Sean Ritchie, Todd Lloyd, and Chapstick. So thanks, guys, for supporting us.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. And yeah, if you want to jump over there, have a look at patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. But also if you're on YouTube, we definitely just appreciate a like, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff as well, because that helps us heaps. Now, having said that, I obviously ramble a lot there talking about names, and the list, great. It's great for, it's been growing. I'd like to put this out there because if you listen to this audio, you're probably listening and going, oh, skip, because that's a lot of names. I'm going to trial, and hopefully the patrons don't care about this, and you can complain on our channel if you're a patron and don't like what I'm about to say. But what I might do is shout out the newest members over the last month, put all the names down on YouTube on the video, so everyone who's watching this will still get a shout out. But what I want to do is actually shout out our patrons in terms of on our channel, they share pics, they're playing games and stuff like that, and actually sort of the ones that are active, we can share some of their pictures and hobby. And if you're a Patreon and you want to get a shout out of a specific thing, like you're going to a tournament or you just went to a tournament or you've just done a awesome piece of hobby you want us to show, then let me know that week and I'll shout that out. That way it's a bit more interactive and fun and visual and stuff rather than just me rattling off names. But I'm going to try that for a little bit and see if that's cool. I guess listeners can let us know if they like that. But yes, if you're a Patreon, you will still get your name on the YouTube going up and down the side of the screen when I work out how to do that. So I don't know. Hopefully that's okay. Outside of that, let's get into it. It's a weird episode. We're just going to talk dwarves. And we touched on this last week, maybe just review some of our Castle Assault Alpha A, beta lists that we're thinking of if we spent the week thinking anything more about them, which I probably didn't because I wasn't here. Josh sounded like he didn't because he was doing campaigns, which he'll talk about. And Andrew's moving.
Been scheming.
So...
I've been scheming.
Cool.
I said it. There's plenty of scheming going on.
You started scheming Dwarf list, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I've got my backup because I've still got to paint a bunch of stuff. So we'll see how we go on the painting front. But
cool.
I'll go through. We'll hit it up and everyone can let.
And
us
I don't
know.
mind. Like I'm not trying to have any. It's not secret lists or anything, so I just want to get some feedback from other people about what I'm thinking of taking versus, is there other things I'm not looking, like blind spots, like maybe do this or this is not going to work as well or whatever. Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, let's throw in a hobby then. Who wants to go first for that then?
I think Josh has got are you doing a bit? Did you want to go first or last?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've got some stuff to talk about, although it's not really regular hobby, I suppose. Yeah. It's a bit weird because I have spent pretty much my entire hobby time has been 100% dedicated to trying to write these campaign rules, which I've almost...
looking bloody published, that's for sure. Some of those things you just shared before.
Yeah.
Very professional.
It's looking profesh. I've probably got a couple more things to work at, like to write up, I think, and then just make sure it all sort of works. I'm hoping to get it properly out there. Maybe this next few days, this week or so. I was hoping to get it done, and then I can just focus on hurriedly try to paint what I can for Castle Assault.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I was kind of like, because I wanted to get this done so that I could get it out and sort of announced, and then in time for like a good month or two beforehand, because it'd probably be slated to start sort of mid or late September. So it's only a month and a half away as it is. So I wanted to crack on and get it through, and I've been working steadily on it for the last couple of months, so it'd be nice to get it out there. It does take a lot of brain power for me to do these things, because I'll spend ages just thinking about a particular element, like, or a particular rule, or what I want to do with this particular thing. And sometimes I'll have to sleep on it, and then when I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. So I've got a couple of things that I specifically want to talk about. I wonder if I can bring up my screen actually. One of them is that I had to get my board out because I wanted a scenario that was sort of like not really a ambush. It's sort of halfway between an ambush and a meeting engagement, I guess. So hold on, I'll just share my screen, guys. Just bear with me.
You're right. Someone on the side of my screen here, so I was distracted. The Dwarf video I put out today, I made a comment and someone's posted my video on another Discord channel, citing me as like a source. I'm like, I'm not a source. I was so I'd have to find the comment I made. It's like, I'll try to find the source of what I. It's funny.
On WikiLeaks.
That's me.
Oh, you guys. I don't know what you were talking about. I might fit width on this. There we go. That's better. Sorry, this is Interceptor.
But the PDF you sent us looks so. How do you transform the one you sent us from this? Is this just your rough copy?
This is the rough copy.
Wow.
Yeah. Because when I'm trying to alter it, like when I'm in the dock, the background image and stuff actually gets in the way of the text a bit and stuff.
Okay.
So for this purpose, I'm really just
there's layers of refinement. Yeah.
The people that are on YouTube that are wondering what they're talking about, I've still got one up here that's like this sort of look, which is sort of pretty.
Very nice.
But yeah, so where was I? Sorry. Yeah, so Interceptor. This is what I had to get a board out because I'm trying to think of like I want to have the concept of, you've had the defenders sort of come out to sort of meet the approaching army sort of midway along their route, but not quite fast enough that they've managed to set up a proper ambush, but also not. But early enough that there's not just a straight up meeting engagement where both the columns sort of collide into each other. So this is something where I wanted the concept of slightly pincery sort of movement, where you've got a diagonal deployment, but it's more like a triangular deployment.
Yeah,
isn't
it's like
it?
a V. Yeah. For those who can't see, that's interesting. Yeah,
so it's fun. So
it's like two mini meeting engagements joined together.
But sort of mirrored in the middle, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then so what I wanted to set up, the idea was that the attacking army, the one in the V in the middle, actually has rewards for trying to get through to the defender's table edge. So on like turns 2, 4, and 6, you get like 100 victory points if you got a unit within 6 inches of that board. Because I think I want a carrot there so that. Because I sort of want that dilemma of like you want to push forward, but you also want to avoid getting flanked by the defender.
There might be a tendency otherwise for some attackers going, bugger that, I'll just still set up almost normally and then try and attack. The defender's flanks, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I want there to be reward for that. The other thing, sorry, my cough is really bad. The other thing is one of the master stroke episodes that I got is when like you get master stroke when you're like rolling out scout tables and that type of thing. One of them, if the attacker, you actually get Bronzino's Galloper guns, which is like one of the old Dogs of War guys.
Yeah.
That's the mobile cannons. Because I think I'll be able to get them. So, and in the concept of the mercenary thing of this whole campaign, if someone like that joins your army and they survive the battle, you potentially can pay them to keep fighting for you.
Yeah.
So you sort of get an ongoing thing like that. They can be sort of stolen by being outbid during the game by your opponent.
So whose models are they then? That when you do this, like, do you pay a mercenary?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. So
okay. I'll be bringing all the extra models.
Yeah.
For the mercenaries and the NPCs as well.
Okay.
Like I'll just bring all that. And all the tiles and stuff. I'm just gonna.
Josh is going all out. This is so good.
Yeah.
I'm going absolutely all out. Like to be honest, I'm getting tempted to run a Dogs of War army if I get this many.
Because by the time you build all these mercenaries,
because because the mercenaries, man, like where's the mercenary table gone? So because the ones you can generate would be Lumpen Croops, Fighting Cocks, Marsman Maragulano, the Venators, Long John Slayer Pirates, the Lost Legion, which is a cool pike block, which has got crossbows on the front.
Yeah, okay. Yep. I think I
just know
that one. Unless I'm getting confused, is there another pike set from Dogs of War?
There's like
with big
3 or 4 regiments of renowned pikes, and you've also got the generic pikes.
God,
so there's a lot of pikes going on in the Dogs of War. So that whole deployment zone for the interception, I had to get my board out to visualize how that was going to work and if I had the right space between them, because I had different thoughts about, do I make it like like more squarish but you also want to make it so it's easy to measure out, not too complicated for people to do that, because that's the thing is there's a lot going on here, but I didn't want too many layers of complexity at once for different stuff. Now, one thing that I did end up going a little bit hectic about was actually the fortified tower. So, like if you're defending a fortress, I'm not really going to have like siege stuff in there, but I wanted like a defensible building that could shoot stuff and that type of thing. So I'll go through this in a little bit of detail. So this is the stone tower. Now you get 2 of these if you're defending a fortress. And you'll also get the ability to shift terrain around a bit and maybe replace terrain with like an obstacle. Sort of get extra fences potentially, that type of thing. But the stone tower, it comes with a war machine. Now I wanted to sort of like, the default ones would be the stone thrower or a cannon. But what I've said is, if you've got a war machine in your army book that's up to 100 points, you can use that. And it's also got 5 missile troops in there as well. But that could be from the core section, or if you don't have any missile troops in your core section, you just basically get 5 bow shots using the stats from your core, the first profile in your core list. Now that can actually be shot at, so that thing can shoot. But I've also got rules for being shot at. When you're shooting at the tower, it's -1 to hit, -2 strength, and the wounds value of the shot, like a cannonball with D6 wounds, actually causes that number of hits instead of wounds. So, a cannonball will cause D6 hits at strength 8, I guess. Right. And then you randomize where to hit, war machine, the crew, or the missile troops. Now, each wound you cause actually adds +1 to what's called the sacking roll, because the way you actually destroy the tower or take it down and get victory points for it is moving a unit within 4 inches of the tower, not having an enemy unit within 4 inches of them, and then rolling 2d6, adding unit strength to that unit. And if it's 20 or more, then you destroy you sack the tower, and the tower is taken down, and everything in the foot takes a panic check because the tower's been taken down. So you need to have a unit strength of maybe 10 to 15 to reliably sack it. But if you've done quite a few wounds with shooting before then, it makes it significantly easier to sack it. So
cool.
I don't know, like there's a little bit to explain there, but I feel like as a concept,
like once you get your head around, I think it's just something with a lot of wounds sort of things in a way, but then rather than do all the wounds, you use your unit strength with this roll.
Yeah, you can also just use unit strength to just take it out and ignore the wounds, So that was something that took me a while, because initially I just had the stuff on top, like the war machine and the sacking concept. I didn't have the you can cause wounds to it, but I feel like that adds a lot of interesting sort of layers to it. Now the other one was the shipwreck, because this is something I've recently started to come up with the last few days. Now this only appears. This has a chance of appearing if you're fighting on a coastline tile. By the way, so if you're fighting on a coastline tile, one of the table edges is going to be an impassable coastline, basically,
right.
And 3 inches from that is going to be water terrain. But when you're generating the event for the tile, there's a chance you might roll a shipwreck, which is put on the sort of midway along the table edge. And this shipwreck, you got a chance. You can go and explore it if you would like.
If you want role play, this is full role.
That's great.
That's
great.
Did you open the door? Open the treasure map.
Open the door.
It's locked.
So it's pretty easy to explore. All you need is a non-engaged, non-fleeing unit within 1 inch of the piece of the terrain, and then you roll 1d6 and you see what happens. I'll start with the 2 or 3 is a boring one because you come up empty-handed. The 4, you get an alchemist's elixir, which is a concept I've got in another area of the book, where essentially you get an elixir that you roll a d3 on. You can either get stupidity on a 1, d3 strength for a turn on a 2, or d3 attacks on a 3 for the elixir. So something you can just drink. It's like a potion you can drink later.
Yes.
On a 5, I haven't written it on this document yet, but it's you basically get a magic standard that lets you do a once per battle stand and shoot with pistols, almost like it's a spectral sort of ghosts from the died pirates. They're sort of protecting the standard, so they you see this random pistol stand and shoot sort of concept. So the thing with that banner though is it's once per game, and that banner can be captured like any other banner, and then your opponent can take it. So it's a banner that can persist through the rest of your sort of campaign, but it can be stolen from you. And if you haven't used that one use thing per that battle, your opponent can actually use it. So it's like it's one use per battle, not one use per player. If you know what I mean? On a 6, I've just put in the unit finds a treasure map. Now this is again something I covered this morning where you just have to tell me that you got the treasure map, and then at some point I'm going to be like, "Oh, your scribes have worked out what that treasure map says, and on this tile over there, if you want to find a battle on that tile, there'll be some objective there that you can explore and fight over." So I think it sort of opens up some doors for me injecting other stuff later on.
Like Inception. There's so many games within games.
It's fun.
It is.
But the funnest one is on a 1. If you roll a 1 in this d6, you disturb a massive sea hydra. Basically just a large monster. You have to take a terror. It's put in base contact with a unit, and you have to take a terror check immediately.
And otherwise, you're in combat with it then.
You're in combat with it, so it'll chase you if you want to run away from it. I have nerfed a little bit from the proper Sea Hydra stats that the Dark Elf book has, because I felt like it might have been just a bit much, because it could just destroy a unit. So I've reduced its attacks down to 4. It's got 4 wounds, strength 5, tough 5, that kind of thing. But those NPCs, because there's a whole bunch of ways that they spawn, they're actually worth victory points as well. So if you get spawned the Sea Hydra and you manage to kill it, you actually do get a reward for that. You can get 150 victory points for taking it down. So I know there's lots of little things like that that's going on. Did I have anything else I wanted to talk about? No, that was the 3 main topics actually.
With that, just with the board layout on that, you said like one side is the like an impassable. It's basically the river, the water.
Yes.
Which side of the battlefield is like the short edge? Or does it depend on?
Depends.
Depends
what route you're taking.
Layout. Yeah. Okay.
So because this is I put this in there. So if it depends on the route, because when you're making up these matchups, you have to actually have a route from your territory to the target tile.
Right.
You can cross oceans.
Yeah.
At a penalty of movement, but you can cross oceans. But if you've crossed an ocean to get to that tile, then the coastline edge would be your table edge, because you're landing. Okay. And I've got a little rule in there about landing assault, which is essentially means you can only, in terms of the scenarios you can get, the best you can hope for is a pitched battle, because you're not going to get flanking attacks and stuff because you're just landing on the beach.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you've got some other deployment rules that you sort of get impeded by. But if you haven't come off the ocean, then the coastline would be to your side because you're just fighting the battle next to the ocean. So there's it sort of makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make it
cool.
conceptually make sense. Cool.
This is good.
Definitely have to publish this digitally, and when you're doing it, like taking pictures of that tiles. How are you going to get all these tiles painted by then?
Don't know, Colin. I have no idea.
Not doing it by half.
Lots of contrast paint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll use contrast for sure and dry brushing stuff. But I like I said, I need to take it step by step. I need to get the rules done to get them published and publicized and get some excitement about it, because I think this is pretty cool.
Well, I mean, like we just said, people don't know this, but like you were telling us a little bit about this in our messenger chat, and Andrew said something like, "Oh, it'd be cool if we were down there," but then I went, "Well, we could just do our own version." But we would probably do old world, wouldn't we, Andrew? So it's like how hard? Like you said last week that you probably could adjust it, or you will eventually adjust it to old world.
You could adjust it. Probably the only thing that needs work, there's probably two concepts. So one of it would be when I've got the core army, vanguard and rearguard, they're divided by slots, 6 slots. Yeah. So you might need to work out. Yeah, we might need to do sort of composition percentages. But the complicated thing in there is that different army lists have different slots. I mean, you could just say use your default composition slot and just leave it at that, and that might work actually quite fine. The other thing is, I guess this is probably not as important, but in terms of the power level of the NPCs and the mercenaries, you might need to bump them up a little bit. Just because 6 Ed there's not as many special rules floating around and things.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, looking at those stats you just had up there, you just have to go through all them and go, what's the equivalent? Some of them are going to be in armies, some of them might not. So you just have to come up with them. Yeah.
But no, it's definitely adaptable to the old world, I think, as an overarching structure. The only thing is, you do need to have. So it's designed around having a tiles as the thing to have the geography of your campaign, and then because I've whacked in so many NPCs and mercenary sort of options, you need access to those models as well.
Yes.
So those are the two main limiting factors.
I mean, it's nice having the tiles, but that tile. I can't remember which site it was that actually had the tiles. It actually
you could just do it digitally.
Yeah, and you could actually build it there as well and have that up there. But obviously, yes, you'd want to print the actual or have access to the actual mercenaries, which wouldn't be hard. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Because
otherwise it works really well as I think it's designed as a monthly meetup style thing. Where and whoever comes plays. It doesn't matter so much if you miss a month here or there. It's really. It's completely.
Well, I saw you had a cool thing there, where it's like if you miss 3 in a row, you start just losing territory, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
I like that. Cool.
So there's an eventual penalty for not coming in. And the thing with like the mercenaries is they are actually unique. So if someone else has got a mercenary on their payroll already and you roll it, you can't really hire them. You re-roll and see if you generate something else. If you're absent though, you can just take the mercenary.
Yeah. Right.
How dare you?
Well, you didn't turn up. I like that. That's funny.
That is good.
Cool. Okay. Well, sounds like maybe at the end of this week we can get the first draft to us and we can have a look at it as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it done. This week at some point. Just get all the images sort of set up and get it all together, and it'll be a relief because I spent an incredible amount of time just thinking about it as well as. And like the thing is,
have you been a DM and stuff before?
No. Like the closest I've been to a DM, and probably like the last 12 months, I hadn't done anything like this before. It's probably the slow grow, just having the freedom to experiment with scenarios a little bit,
Okay.
and just see what works, what doesn't, what's taking too far. I think has helped me to learn a lot about how to do this kind of thing. I think, and it's given me more confidence about it as well. Yeah, stuff that I probably wouldn't have
piqued
tried
your interest
before.
a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, I would have like just random ideas pop into my head, and I'm like, I'd have like 3 ideas, and I'd be like, I can write these down before I forget them, so I can put them in. It's like the shower. I'd like quickly write them down on my phone.
Well, there's a tip for that, man. You can buy waterproof pencils and notepads that you keep. That was a strategy I was using a couple of years ago. You just needed it. You'd be like, oh, fuck, I need to remember that thing. And just had them out on the bench. Right. It was there. You get it in camping shops. These little waterproof notepads.
Okay.
There you go. Keep that in the shower.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway. Cool. Andrew, what did you get up to?
Not much. I basically just been doing layering up on my Zacharias, the ever living.
Oh yeah, the zombie, not zombie dragon. What's it called? The abyssal terror.
Yeah, well, he is a zombie dragon, I think. But yeah, I'm running him as
right.
abyssal terror. But I'm running a green, trying to do a green purple palette because that's a nice contrast between the green and the purple. So I'm trying for like a darker green with like some real bright green sort of highlights, like a mid green, and then although he's got a lot of exposed flesh, so instead of having that as like a rotting sort of red brown, I'm gonna have that more of a red but like more purple highlights towards the top. So it's gonna, and then I'm thinking maybe for Zacharias himself, probably have like a purple robe as well, or something along the lines of that. I'll find between green, orange, and purple, those 3 tend to mix quite well. But I don't think all 3 together would work well. It's either like a green in an orange or green in a purple. They tend to look quite good. So I'll try and get him done, and then hopefully I'll have some more hobby coming up from your hobby that you've helped me out.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You will.
Yes, so might lead into that if you want.
Okay, no worries. Well, I didn't do a lot except for printing when I got home because I was away last week. So Andrew sent me some bat swarms from One Page Rules, was it? Yeah.
They look pretty good
to print, so I printed them out. So that was the closest picture I took of them. But I think they came out pretty good. I think
they look
really
good.
Any issues with them? So I could fit 10 on a build plate, but I also did squish a little one of the leech priests from the latest Highlands release. Just someone to try him out. So I printed them, and basically I've just been printing. I mean, this is only a day and a half since I've been back. I didn't print all that in a day and a half. You can just see where I'm getting to, I guess. I've finished printing another, I think it was 16 Dwarf Warriors and maybe it's 16 or 18 Ironbreakers from Highlands.
Oh, yeah.
Plus the little leech.
Yeah, nice.
So this is what I've currently got printed from Highlands, but plus 2 gyrocopters. I started moving them into I'm going to put them in a big tub, and then once you can see the ranges have been
I love those ranges.
Zenithold.
So cool.
I'm going to do that with the whole army. They're all magnetized, and I'm just getting still waiting on these MDF bases to come from Back to Basics. So they're all basically going to be my goal is to get them all ready to paint and in the right movement trays, magnetized. So they basically could be used, but that way I can just go, I feel like painting 5 dwarves, just pull them out, grab 5.
Yeah.
And don't have to worry too much about it. So
prep.
They're just ready to go. That's the guy from Highlands. That was just playing around with the sea.
Oh, right.
Yeah, from the latest.
Was he the latest one? Yeah.
Yeah, one of the. Because I don't really have. I've got like the 2 leech guys. I've got. However you say it. One's like that really old metal guy, and then the other one's that real skinny one, and they're all pretty shit. To be honest. I don't think Games Workshop have very good lead. The best guy is the guy from the Dragon, who I made into that flying guy. I'm probably not going to have him flying, so maybe I'll I mean, I probably won't have him ready for Castle because I'll have to do some other stuff. But I mean, if I do, I might use him. I don't know. See how we go.
Some stuff doesn't age well, or like there are some
Yeah.
weird models, like especially undead, like you were saying. Like Vamps have got some real weird looking guys as well. I find it's just some
Yeah.
stuff ages terribly.
And like, obviously, the skeletons are all derpy and stuff, but I just feel like some of those, that really skinny necromancer guy, he was really easy to paint because he's all bandages and stuff, but he's very, I don't know, maybe his character's pretty good because he is so like skinny and atrophied and stuff. It's probably a good figure in a way, but I still don't overly rate him. So, I don't know. I'll play around with some of these other ones and maybe paint them up, but yeah, that's all I was doing. And then, because I was putting the dwarfs, I guess this isn't hobby time, but this is more of a shout out. See what patrons, or not patrons, bloody listeners think, and hit us up with comments if you'd be interested. I'm gonna, like on our YouTube channel, I've been wanting to. I didn't want to do this when Old World came out, but I want to do it now that I don't have to rush an army. I wanted to do like a Tale of Four Gamers type series, but not with just us. Like we could be involved. Like you two are welcome to be involved, but you don't have to be either. But I wasn't going to have 4 gamers. It'd be like the tale of a random number of Old World gamers. Well, no, not a specific number. Yeah, obviously I don't want heaps, but I figure that like if say I found 6 people and we had 7 people on it, I'm no way is everyone always going to be on the call. So it doesn't have to be 4. And that way I don't have to fight with people's schedules because it's like if you can make it come and then probably do. I don't know. I'm very early in this, but I was just thinking maybe do something like it's like a YouTube video call every 3 weeks or something, and you do like 5 of them. So it's like 3 months, and then see if, and aim to try build out. How long did your slow grow go for?
My slow grow?
Yeah.
It started
longer than that though, hey?
It started in either September or October of last year. So almost a full year.
Yeah.
Monthly meetings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started slow. It was 400 points to start with and only 200 points every month incrementally.
Yeah, I sort of want it to be a bit aggressive. Like not aggressive, but I think 3 months. And at the end of the day, you don't have to finish what you're doing. But I just felt like, I think people like watching that stuff where there's like 4, 5, 6 people on a thing. They show what they've done. And because it's 3 or 4 weeks or whatever, there generally is stuff to show. It's not just, I printed some figures. It's actually, I built this and painted this one. And try and do something like that and have some other people involved, Patreons, listeners, anyone else. I don't really care.
Yeah, for sure.
And just do a YouTube video every, I don't know. I was thinking it could be every month, but I sort of felt like it'd be cool if it was slightly faster than that, but not like every 2 weeks because that's a bit quick given that we're already doing podcasts and other videos, Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I be able to participate by furiously painting tiles?
Yeah.
Or is it miniatures?
Yeah.
This is my army.
That's why I want a name that's like the tale of some funny thing, Old World Gamers, like because it's not actually like, it's not like it's the same set of people. I mean, hopefully it is mostly the people who start, finish, but I know what it's like. There's life gets in the way and stuff, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, so if people are interested and they're sort of starting to think, because a lot of people either have been building an old world army, but I think there would be people now that are like, have got, their old fantasy armies now up to scratch and they're able to play games and now they're sitting back going, I'm about to start it. I think we might get into another realm in the next month or so where people are going to start a new one, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they want their second one or whatever. And that's sort of where I am. I've got like a bunch of these armies. They basically can be used and I'm rebasing some, but it's a bit boring. The dwarfs I could do, but I've already sort of kick that off. I feel like the Beastmen, and again, I'm with this dwarf release, which we can talk about. I'm almost like, what's the next one? And if the next one is one that I was considering doing anyway, say Beastmen got announced, I'd be like, okay, well that's a no-brainer. I'm going to do that as this Tale of Four Gamers, that type of thing. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's future hobby, but might see. And I'll probably maybe I'll make an announcement and reminder of that over the next few podcasts and get some names down and see if anyone wants to be involved. Cool.
Yeah, well, I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Should we get on to the topic?
Yes.
Or one of the topics?
One of
them. If I can jump back to my screen then and... Sorry, I've lost the screen. Does that come up?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. There we go.
Oh yeah.
The
Oh, that's right. We didn't
world.
really have a news section, did we? We just wanted to trade a hobby in a way.
Yeah,
Right,
that's right.
yeah.
Because there was only just going to be the dwarf stuff, so I thought let's just do it as main topic.
That makes sense. Makes sense
Yeah.
to me.
So, I feel like maybe I can let. I don't know. Do you want me to? I already talked about this on my YouTube video, but do you want me to guide it through, or have you guys read it enough to? One of you guys want to take the lead?
I've gone through it a couple
Andrew,
of times,
since you're the
but you
dwarf man.
can lead away because you've already spoken about it, and then I can jump in with where
Thoughts.
I might.
Okay.
There's
So,
some good thoughts.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as I know, and part of these previews work, this is coming this Saturday for pre-order. We can have a chat about what does actually mean country-wise when we get to the end. But
wasn't it already sold? I thought we saw it for sale just the other week, right?
on eBay, yeah, that's right.
Only $100.
Yeah. That's right. Hopefully, it's cheaper than that. Yeah, so we're getting the old world. Was it Arcane Journal, Dwarven Mountain Hold, 48 pages. I think they're all like that. Basically confirming that the 3 characters, and I think we'd been told the 3 characters before, but Thorgrim's name was slightly different, wasn't it? And because he's not Thorgrim Grudge Bearer, but I think everyone thought it was him, and it obviously is because they're talking about that they're all 3 were present. Host of special units, which we all know about, and then they obviously confirmed the Royal Clan and Expeditionary Forces as the Armies of Infamy, as well as new runes and runic tattoos. So that's the first sort of batch of information. What do you make of that in terms of, probably the biggest thing there is the Armies of Infamy, but also these new runes and runic tattoos, Andrew?
Yeah. Well, as with everybody, I'm just hoping that everybody, when I say everybody, the other fellow dwarven army holders out there, that the slayers become hopefully more viable, and more viable will be more survivable, because at the moment they're they dull our flies.
Point. Yeah, and are you talking here runic tattoos? Do you think that's specifically slayers? Like, is there other, like, do dwarves have tattoos otherwise?
Oh, I'm sure dwarves got tattoos, but I think
because
like
they're
slayers,
pretty muscly. You'd think they'd have sleeves and stuff, but maybe you don't see them painted that way.
Yeah, nah.
It's usually
But
just the slayers.
I would say so. Like, to me, that's just it's kind of like you got the trying to think,
Savage
the
orcs.
orcs, savage orcs.
Yeah,
exactly the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of ward in there as part of that, and I reckon that'd definitely make them viable. That's all they're missing, is like maybe a 6-up ward in combat, maybe a 5-up ward to shooting or something like that. I think that'd be perfect.
Do you think they put out enough damage that it's just survivability, really? Because I guess you can update all of them to giant slayers and stuff, like they can.
Oh yeah, like you don't want them. I suppose you don't want to swing it too far the other way either, but I think a 6-up would be perfect. With maybe a 5-up against shooting, because they tend to get shot off quite easy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I like that. Have you got any inkling about what breakdown of units would go in the Royal Clan versus Expeditionary Force?
No, I was a little bit, because it was like the Engineers Expeditionary Force, I believe, from the eBay item.
That? Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's not overly
gyrocopters.
Oh well, I don't mind gyrocopters. I was just hoping they were going to stay away from too many war machines. I really hope they just get away from that static sort of, castle up in a corner, or just sit back with heaps of shooting, and come up with something where it's sort of a push, or just something to a bit more flavor compared to your classic.
Would you say miners are engineering-ish in the sense that they're obviously digging?
Could be, yeah.
Because then you could have miners.
Miners are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like ambushing stuff, or maybe you could have miners or something like that.
Possibly, you see stuff that makes them easily get around the board a bit better, or something, but then the Royal Clan is still, to me, that's a bit interesting as well, because I don't know, would that be a little bit sort of similar to the, what's it called? Not the mortuary cult, the other one, the royal host or whatever. Yeah, royal host in Tomb King land, where it's a bit more, I wouldn't say they've souped it up by any means in terms of rules. It's just sort of changed the compositions around a bit.
Yeah, maybe a special rule here and there.
Mm.
Possibly like that. Like if it's sort of like Royal Clan might be more like the King's Army. There might be a few more stubborn
rules
units,
about that.
or things like that, or
So the Dwarven Mountain Holds Battalion, we've seen this before, obviously, but I mean, it's a pretty good one. Hey, like I think, especially if you're going to start out a dwarf list, I feel like at least the Dwarven armies I've faced, yours and two others at the tournament the other day, most of them always had some form of either Thunderers or like Quarrelers. Can you use these guys as Rangers technically? Could you like convert them?
Yeah. Oh, there's. I haven't, to me, there's no real Ranger sort of model.
Yeah,
so
like unless it's way old,
just
hey.
use
And
the
then
Quarrelers,
obviously Warriors, everyone seems to have them because I think everyone would like an army where it's all hammerers and ironbreakers and stuff. But reality is, you need to have some dwarf core because everything else is expensive. And then obviously gyrocopters. So it feels like this is probably one of the better battalion boxes that you'd actually use, which is pretty cool.
Agreed.
Good point. Yeah.
Um,
Just as a few extra gyrocopters in there, eh?
Yeah, that's right. And then I don't think we knew this was coming, did we? The massive runic transfer.
I'm excited.
Yeah. 962 transfers. Actually zoomed in on this a little bit on the YouTube video and just like looked at the what are they called? The clan names, and they're all like the existing. Most of them, at least as far I could see, were the existing ones. But it's cool to have them, matched up properly, and then they've got the whole alphabet there and all this sort of stuff. So,
I've got I'm so excited for this because I've just got maybe 5 or 6 plain green banners with nothing on it because I can't paint banners to save my life.
Neither can
I. This is the cheats way. So I'm very excited.
Yeah. What would you do, clan wise? Because what's yours? Or yours is green, isn't it?
Yeah, it's green. I like having like the mountain. There's like the two mountain ones. I think one's possibly 8 peaks, and I don't know what the one is with the larger and the smaller triangular mountains.
Yeah. Oh, that's Karazakarak, I think. This one here.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. There's
8.
One of these is green.
Big...
I don't know if it's correct. Like the Slayer one might be green as well. Correct. I don't know. You'd have to look it up on the wiki. Warhammer wiki, whatever, it's got them all there. But although that's a bit confusing because one of them, it's the Azul or as this one, Karak Azul or whatever. I went in and was it that one? I don't know, one of them. That was this one, Eagle or whatever. It had a banner. It was like purple or something, or blue, and then underneath had a shield which was like red and green. It said the colours of whatever it was, but I was like. But the banner's not so maybe that's right. But what color is it? So you'd have to do a bit more research. But the dwarves I've started painting are the purple and white, but that's as far as I know is not a clan color, which is fine. But now I've seen this transfer, so I'm like, maybe I should. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, does it?
It's just just throw whatever on there.
Yeah.
Whatever looks cool.
Are you going to get the dwarf? These reference card packs, or not really, given that you've got the other ones that we've got off the other guy?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like anyone really uses them. So I don't know. Have you ever used yours?
No. Well, I do use. So I'll switch back and forth between which magic cards I use, and the magic cards you get with obviously the normal ones. Do have some of the ones like the Tomb King spells and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was worth having them, but more recently I've switched to just. No, I do use them. If I end up using those ones that Andrew Hollis or whatever printed for us, I don't need them anyway.
So they have all the Tomb King spells in them. The Andrew Hollis
he did
ones
for those ones. Yeah.
Yeah,
He doesn't have the dwarf. He does have the dwarf. Oh, not the dwarf runes, which he said he didn't have something. What was it? Did he have the dwarf? The
I'm trying to
anvil
remember
spells?
actually.
I thought that was
Maybe
he
he
was
didn't.
missing something. I can't remember, and he was
Oh, I
going to
can't
add them
remember.
in.
My memory shot.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think he's going to add them later, so it's fine. And he even said he was going to do smaller releases with just the newer Arcane Journal ones when they pop out, which is cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because we don't have the troll ones, for example. I don't think the troll magic ones
Yeah,
at
true.
the moment,
Yeah.
which weren't even in the orc one anyway.
They weren't.
So it was
They weren't in the GW one either. Were they?
Yeah.
So I
They
didn't
just don't
buy.
exist
Well, there you
at
go. I
all.
didn't buy I didn't buy the orc cards, so that's good. Because I just went F that. I'm not buying them if they don't have the troll one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Now the dice, on the other hand, I love my Tomb King dice. I know they're
Yeah.
expensive, but I reckon they feel cool. They look cool, and I reckon these will look pretty similar because they've got this cool matte stone feel to them. Not, I think these pips are a bit harder to read. That's the only problem. But
Are they? They're pretty orange.
you don't mind? Yeah, okay. I don't know. I just thought maybe they might look a bit harder, but they might stick out.
I guess it's hard to tell on the photo, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like, if the pips aren't easily visible, that's a deal breaker for ever using the dice. To me,
Yeah.
it's
It's
such
too
an
hard.
important part of it.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anyway, cool.
I'm not even a fan, by the way, of icons necessarily on the dice. I don't know about you guys, but it's just like,
I don't mind as long as it's a 6. I hate it when it's a mix.
yeah, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
not the one. It's not consistent
Yeah, I
across
know.
the industry,
Ridiculous.
and so you just see the icon and you look at the guy like, is that a 1 or a 6?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's obviously standardized more now. Like Games Workshop were the ones who were putting them on 1s initially, and then they switched around.
Well, the ones I think they've got a little skull and a skull for 1 or something. I think I've seen recently. So
yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, that sounds. I haven't bought any transfer sheets for a long, long time off Warhammer. So it'd be funny to see what they come out like or how much they are. Then we got the resin Ungram Iron Fist, which he looks pretty cool.
He does.
Is this something you'd get, Andrew? Would you?
I've
What are
got
you
the
going to pick
other-
up here as we go? Tell us what you're going to pick up. Obviously, the rune sheet.
Yeah.
Is one.
Well, I don't know if I will grab them straight up because I got the old model where it's got the banner. So
yeah,
I don't know. Well, it'd be nice to get them all, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
It's like how many are you gonna get?
it's an impressive size axe there. It's almost
That
as
is.
tall as him.
Given that he's on 25s now as well, like it's actually. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
he
pretty
is. It's easy for
Yeah.
to forget that he's on 25s. He
Yeah,
looks
he's
like he's
quite-
on 20s to me.
Quite beefy. Yeah.
big. Then Dwarf Lobby Shield Bearers, and I'm assuming you'd play this guy's Thorgrim if they have him as a special character, given that he's not a king. Is that right? Like, do you reckon that's the purpose of this, or is it just a standard? They just were all guys going to release him.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do.
I guess it
in
depends what
regards
the
to that.
character is. Like if Thorgrim's on Shield Bearers, like as in this special character that comes in the journal,
Yeah.
or he might just be on foot. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm not too sure what they're gonna do. Surely they will have to have something in the Arcane Journal and like a picture. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be the standard, but I'll definitely get this.
So you'll get
These
this
shield
one
bearers.
because this comes with
Yeah.
both these guys. Hey, you get the guy on the foot
Yeah.
and this. That's
Yeah.
worth it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, depending how much it costs, but yeah,
Mm.
good pack.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
See, this is one that I'm considering getting, even though I think it's obviously not a Highland. Like it'll look different to the Highland a little bit, but at the same time, because it's such a different model, I don't think it'd matter. You know what I
It
mean?
looks
Yeah.
different to GW a bit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the faces kind of look similar to the new guys, but they got these. I don't even know what that is. Like that weird shoulder, sort of those runes
thing?
going around.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. And the helmets look a little bit strange. Like it's a bit different. The aesthetic.
These,
But anyway.
Yeah.
it's funny. These helmets almost look like the Ironbreaker helmets from the Highlands guys, a little bit more like sort of rounded, sort of, yeah.
But they fit pretty well. And the thing is, when you're using Thermal Highlands, I mean, yeah, if you get that as a centerpiece, I think that'll work completely fine. You know, like if you're going to spend money on something where you want to supplement the 3D printing, I think it's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it'll fit well.
This guy, on the other hand, I probably wouldn't bother, but Dwarf the hand with handgun on Oathstone. I mean, with
Tactical Rock.
Unless we see something different in this expeditionary force, or that like makes it useful. I'm not sure. And the other thing is, I don't know how I ended up with, but I've got a lot of, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these old GW guys with guns and stuff. I don't know where I got them from or what they were from. But I'm not lacking in the odd hero dude who needs to look like an engineer or someone with a gun. So,
well, that's it. Like how often are you going to use a bloody handgun, like on your Thane or whatever? Like it's pretty. I've never equipped one. It's pretty rare you see, But anyway.
Yeah, so no go for you. And then we got all these classic ones coming back. I love how this guy's a classic, and he's like, isn't this the 8th edition plastic rune guy?
Yeah, it is.
Which I've got. The only interesting one with these re-releases is they came in those little clamshell ones with the scenic base. That was, obviously a 20 mil. So, and I'm assuming he's coming back in plastic because he was plastic.
Yeah, surely.
So, do they just release it? Will they just add a 25 base in the pack? I wonder what they've done. Surely
was he attached to the base? Was the base part of the model originally, the scenic base, or was it a separate?
It's separate, but it's separate on the base. Yeah, it's on the actual. Sorry, it's on the sprue.
Okay.
There's a 20 mil scenic base on the sprue.
Part of the sprue itself.
Yeah, I don't think he's connected. I think you could obviously take him off it. Yeah, you'd have to give a 25 mil, I think.
Sometimes those scenic ones, they kind of got like the holes, kind of where feet go or something like that. So it's kind of.
I mean, he's right there, but obviously he's glued together. So
what
he's like now, but yeah. Then we've got a bunch of engineer guys. Or are they engineers? These are all engineers, eh? They're not just thunderers or anything. Yeah.
No, engineers.
So somehow I've got this guy.
Yeah, I got
top
him.
guy. But I don't have the others, so I don't know where
I got him in the bottom bloke.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind him. Some big mechanical bloody hammer thing. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
These two are actually the better looking ones. I think these guys, especially this guy on the right, he looks a bit derpy. I don't know. I shouldn't say that given that I played Tomb Kings, which got way more derpier models than that guy.
Yeah.
But, it's what it is. Sorry. Then the old school banner guy, Lord and the Slayer.
That's the Forge World kit, yeah.
Have you got any of these guys from Forge World?
Yeah, I got all 3. Yeah,
okay.
That's the Forge World.
Nice.
Command group. Oh, it's not Command, but how Forge World have got like the different releases for.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I was wrong. I thought this guy was a metal guy, but he's always been Forge World.
No, yeah, he's the Forge World.
Okay, I got that wrong in my video. No one's picked up on that because I said he's probably too heavy and he'll fall over. Like the old Tomb King metal banner guy, and he was falling over. There's an orc one, I think is all metal. It's just
it's pretty good. Yeah. I've put because the guy like the Lord with the great weapon, he's pretty cool. He's got like a dragony sort of cloak on the back of him. I've put him on my the throne, so I took off Thorgrim and threw him on instead. Just because he was sitting down, it kind of like it didn't seem very menacing. You just had this dude just sitting there.
It's kind of sitting down.
Yeah, at least this guy, he's kind of standing up, and then he had like the Book of Grudges, and he was kind of like, over the top of it.
Oh yeah,
ready
cool.
to. Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I won't get any of these initially, but it'd be cool to know that these are. You can just get them, not made to order as such, but like just that they're going to be around.
It's a good BSB.
Yeah,
I like it.
We've got the Slayer command group. I never had these guys. I've got that guy and that guy, but not the actual command group. So I don't know if that's.
They look a bit odd without the. They've got like their normal, natural coloured hair on the beards, and they've only got the orange on the.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, it does look a bit strange for me.
I feel like they did that with this repaint. Hey, I didn't see that much in 8th and stuff in the early editions. This was the edition where I saw, some of the Slayer hair a bit different colour.
Yeah, from the orange plume.
Gives a bit more different colouring going on the model, I guess.
Yeah.
Although the orange, having all orange is very distinctive as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I agree with you, Andrew. I think I prefer the orange all over.
Then you got all the separate boxes coming out, which I really like that they've done this straight out of the box. Where the bat, where you've got like that battalion box, but split up. Or at least, well, I should say that, and then I realised they don't have the gyrocopters, at least in this release. But yeah, you can get the warriors by themselves. Is this going to be just a massive unit of resin slayers then, like recast into Forge World resin? Or do you reckon this is a picture that has, 12 or whatever it is, but they'll release them in groups of 4 or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do that.
Because they were never a box set; they were always just blister packed. So
yeah, it's annoying. It's an annoying and expensive way to sort of do it if you got to buy them in separate blisters.
I'm assuming. Does it say? Does it even say how they're? I don't think it mentions the Slayers. Oh, yeah, it says Slayers, but it doesn't tell you what they're coming in. But I'm assuming it's Forge World resin because they were all metal, weren't they, initially? Then they're obviously bringing back these that were on the AOS store up until last week, but now they're not. So that's all cool. They're the newer 8th edition ones, and obviously then the Quarrelers dual pack as well. So that's cool. Like if you don't need. And then I would assume that you're going to get a 2-pack gyrocopter because you get a 2-pack board chariot now. So you'd probably get a 2-pack gyrocopter set once it comes out as well.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not in here, so I'm assuming it's another wave. And then you got the classic Dwarf Mercies. I don't know. I'm not a fan, but what do you guys think of these? Because are these guys going to be in your NPCs, Josh? In your campaign?
No, I can't say. I can't say that they will. Although they do look very old Hammer.
Yeah,
I love this too.
If I could find relevant rules for them, maybe look at those mustaches, guys. Those mustaches are incredible.
I think the poor thing is the base size just makes it look even worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
They look ridiculous on those bases. Yeah, the base size is ginormous.
Just the aesthetic is it's just completely different.
It is.
It's chalk and cheese.
It's too old Hammer to me.
Having said that, I said that, and then a lot of comments I've seen in my YouTube video today were people saying they're definitely getting these ones. So there's a lot of, which is fine. Like I've got nothing against it. Like if you're collecting for old Hammer, like I was doing for some of the Dwarf ones, the Orc ones, definitely. I think it's better than trying to find them secondhand. So
yeah.
And then obviously the Doom Seekers, like I just want to see what their rules are going to be like, I probably wouldn't get these. I think Highland's got Doomseeker dudes anyway. Just print them. But
they snap so easy. Those chains are terrible. Absolutely terrible. So,
do you reckon they'd be any better in the new Forge World resin versus the old Finecast, or were they metal?
They were metal and they're a pain in the butt to try.
And they say they're metal. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, so these are very least metal ones, are they? Okay, yeah.
Because you just can't glue it back on. They just, metal, like thin metal, stuff like that.
It's done, it's done.
It's done, yeah. At least resin, you can kind of,
Yeah.
It's a bit of hope.
The only thing I like, though, is that I'm assuming we're getting rules in the Arcane Journal, so that would be really cool to see what they come out like. Especially how OP'd Fanatics are. Imagine if they just do something weird like that. You just can't target them or something.
One can hope.
Oh,
I counter your Fanatics with my Doomseeker. But just on that, a lot of guys for alternates for Doomseekers use the Age of Sigma. I don't know what they're called. The Slayer guys and that. Yeah, because there's quite a few of them, and they got like chains and they kind of fit the aesthetic a little bit. So
yeah, they're not too bad. Then the classic Dwarf war engines, which first, again in my video when I read this the first time, because the video I did this morning, I sort of just did it up to pretty much reading. Oh, I forgot they didn't even have a cannon here. So the cannon and organ gun aren't here, but I assume that's a second wave as well because that was a plastic kit, whereas these are all obviously
Yeah.
metal. But I'm assuming they're coming back in. Assuming Forge World resin, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be
Assuming
guessing.
so. They did that with
Yeah.
all the other war engines, I think, as far as I know.
Those goblin hewers, whew, they're
the
expensive
goblin-
if you're buying them. I reckon there'll be heaps of those getting sold.
Yeah, I think that
They're just-
one. I
yeah.
probably would get that one, even just for the fun. And plus, I want to see what the rules are. But that
It's a
one.
very
Yeah,
ridiculous model.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So ridiculous.
I hate this flame cannon. I like the old school 4th, 5th edition flame cannon. It looked better. This one looks a bit weird, I reckon.
Yeah, I got 2 of
I
those
like the
actually.
old- Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I just
the
don't
old
like the
barrel
flame
one.
cannon rules. They're sort of,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of distance on them, so.
Nah, but they're cool. Like, that'd be good. I wonder when the cannon's coming. And then you got the Anvil of Doom, which is cool. Nothing much to say about that guy, but this one's funny. The old
Pony.
Bugman's Brewery. Now, I missed this
So
until I was rereading it. They said when the Throng needs an extra turn of speed, it can also turn to a non-magical power of Bugman's XXX, 6X, carted around by
6X,
sturdy draft
yeah.
ponies and distributed to the nearby warriors to boost their speed.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. What
Yeah,
the
it
rules will be for
is.
that?
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's very intriguing.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if there's some little things in here that makes dwarfs being able to move around a bit, a bit more mobile,
Yeah.
which would be interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's be good to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said at the top of the show, it's like one of the best things if you're not into dwarves and you feel like, we've just been sitting here waiting and a bit bored, I want bloody. Because, I think everyone's commented, like, seen this lull in old world, even content on YouTube. And I think a lot of
Yeah.
podcasts have noticed a bit of a dip. And, the interest hasn't so much waned, but I think everyone's just heads down, nothing's new coming out. So just get stuff done. And but now that this is out and pre-ordered, I think the excitement will start not only for this, but also I'm assuming that, we won't be waiting 4 months to get the next release. I think they'll be giving us a preview of something in the next, whatever, of what might be coming next, So, and when you think about it, the other ones that are coming, I mean, apart from arguing that, apart from Beastmen, I would say all the other ones are quite popular, when you think about Empire, Chaos, High Elves,
what else?
What else? They're pretty popular armies, and so I think there's a lot of people waiting.
Chaos Warriors. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
I'm not saying
You've
Beastmen
got-
weren't, but they were probably less popular just because of how bad they were neglected for so long.
Well, that's I think it's a bit of a cycle there, isn't it? I reckon they've got potential to be popular if they'd been supported better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you hope comes out next?
Who? Me?
Well, both of you guys.
Oh. I'd like to see some woodies, some wood elves would be cool.
Because that's your other army, basically.
Yeah,
So.
purely out of self-interest, that is.
Yeah.
What have we had? Tomb Kings are technically evil in this section, and we've got orcs, and we've got
Who are
Bretts.
also evil. Yeah, Bretts.
And
Yeah, so we're 2 for
dwarves.
2 of each.
Right. So you can't even predict that.
No.
Yeah, could be either or.
I'd have to have a look at that because it has been going kind of in that order so far. The had the, although that it was wrong because it was going was it like autumn, spring, or whatever, but it had that the armies.
You
that
mean
come out
is
in
that on the
order.
logo? Is that on the the Warhammer logo thing?
Oh, somebody just brought out there was just a picture and it had all the armies in the release.
Oh yeah, and that was totally fake. But I see what you mean. Yeah,
But it was fake. But it wasn't. I think those armies have gone in that order, haven't they?
it might have.
So
I
it
can't
was
remember where I even looked for that.
Bretonians.
But yeah. Where's it? I'm trying to get the picture of the rule book up. Damn it! I probably should. You can't because this. Probably can't. Is it in there? No.
What are you trying to
The
get?
logo, the Old World Warhammer Old World book logo, has this thing. people have said that like it's also mirrored. Where you've got Brett's Tomb Kings, and then you had orcs and dwarves on either side, and so they were saying stuff like, well, that means it's probably going to be chaos, high elves, and beastmen, wood elves, and then empire as the ninth one by itself. I don't know. That's the other thing that people are saying.
Let's give you a lot of credit to GW for forward planning.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, so it was dwarves, orcs, and goblins, and then that's the roadmap. And then it was high elves, chaos, wood elves, beastmen, and then empire.
Hang on, so read that again, sorry.
Dwarfs and orcs and goblins was spring.
Yeah.
Which is, well, obviously...
So funny if this was not fake. It was fake but not fake, as in the person actually knew what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah. High elves, chaos.
Well, they just guessed correctly.
Right. Well, high elves, chaos is what I just said on the logo.
Yeah. Then, wood elves, beastmen, and then empire.
Okay. Yeah.
Was that the...
Yeah, that's the logo mirroring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't really mind what comes next because I do feel like if Beastmen came out, that'd be a great excuse for me to actually get that army moving.
Yeah.
I think High Elves would be the one that I don't have any of that, but you've got that. And then if Wood Elves comes out, Josh has got that. And I've actually do have Wood Elves, but I probably wouldn't get them up and running by then.
Yeah.
I
think
Empire,
High Elves is
so
one of the most popular.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chaos, I think, will always be a cool one. I think that'd be... I think I said, that would be an army I would start because it wouldn't be very hard to finish because it's just not a big army, in terms of
the Chaos Warriors.
Yeah. You don't need a lot.
Just dragging some knights.
Yeah, for sure. I reckon those and the High Elves, I guess, would be the two ones who cause the biggest level of excitement. Wouldn't it?
Yep.
The
Chaos and High Elves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, potentially. Yeah, for sure. Very popular. Yeah. So, cool. All right. Well, let's hope. We'll get some pre-orders in this week. And so, before we say that, are we going to get pre-orders this week? I guess in terms of Australia, given that on this article there was no hint of it saying that it's delayed, where we always would see that, and now
how could it be delayed? How it's been so long since
I know
we're waiting for this.
Oh, it's GW, come on.
And one of there was another, and now I cannot remember where to source this one, but someone did say something about this has been ready for. There's been delays in the whole delivery of getting stuff out, specifically for iOS, and it's pushed everything back. And this has been ready to go for months, and is sitting in sitting in boxes in the country, is ready to go. Which might be true if this is not delayed anywhere. Just the whole world gets pre-orders this week. Which means we may actually get it before other people, because we'll get the pre-orders off first, except for New Zealand, and we'll also get release day first versus most people.
Well, Frontline, I've got my pre-order because I hit them up quite a while ago.
Oh, did you?
So, yeah. It was written on a sticky note, so guaranteed.
Nice.
Cool. Oh, well, let's we'll move off from that unless you guys have anything else to add.
No.
Cool. We were just going to touch on Castle Assault again, and I should have probably brought up. Oh, it's actually right here. If we need the Castle Assault list stuff, but I don't know. It sounded like maybe me and Andrew had our lists available to, I guess, have a chat through. Did you want to do that? Do you want to run through what you were thinking first, Andrew?
Pick apart. Well, I can do. So I was going to go through two lists.
You can't send them to me, can you? And I can whack them up on Old World Builder.
Oh, good. I can. No, because one's in New Recruit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I can send you through Messenger. I don't know how that's going to work, actually.
Yeah, well, like for Old World Builder, if you sent the OWB file or whatever it's called in Messenger, I could just bring it up.
Yeah. crap.
Oh, unless you want to actually bring the text up. Is that what you mean?
Well, I was going to say for the one that I've got in
Yeah.
New Recruit.
Yep.
How about, do you want to do yours?
Yep.
And then I can try and sort this out.
Yep.
Because it's all on my phone and I'm not tech savvy at all.
Sorry, man, I'm coughing. Yeah, no worries. Okay, cool. So, happy to run through what I'm. So, I mean, mine's not any different. It's a little different. It's based around what I took the other week, so it's nothing like what's it called
Belcon.
Belcon. But I just was making some changes based on really just unit strength and thinking about what I found didn't work in Belcon a little bit.
You were going to bump up your horse archers, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, and I guess the areas that I'm a little debating is whether or not I need to. Yeah, it's still around that whether or not the Tomb Guard are still like, because you could argue that the Tomb Guard were fine. I just didn't use them well enough. You know what I mean? Versus, having the Skeleton Archers to do some. Try and do a little bit of range damage, or I guess the other alternative is to pack a bunch of spearmen in there as well, and just have maybe even with what's it called Neokar and Phalanx, so they just don't even give ground, potentially. So that's the bulk, the core part that I'm sort of debating which way to go. But ultimately, I'm going to take the dragon. Might as well.
Tomb King.
No change there.
Dragon. Yep.
If I had spare points, one thing I would consider on him, I think, unless I'm
Is
wrong.
he only 440 points on the dragon?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Can I take? Oh, maybe I can't take it. I thought I could. Healing. I don't know. The healing patient's 35. Yeah, okay. No, that's all cool. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing is, if I didn't want to be that guy with the re-rolling to wound, you could potentially change up the armor, but I think it's even more. Where's the other armor that some people take on him? That's 70. Yeah, I don't know. I'd just leave him like that. He's pretty tanky. Currently, he's got a great weapon. The only other option is if you had some more points, put a Sword of Might or something. So it's not as strong, but he does get AP all the time and magic attacks if he needs it. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, he's either going to be eating things he can beat or he'll just tank another dragon and just sit there. I guess that's his job.
Yep. Yeah, just keep healing his wounds back. Yeah.
And look, against Screamless, he might be good to try and get into those Terrorgeists as long as they're by themselves. If it's the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, he probably doesn't want to go near. But I think with his leadership 10, he can survive some of that stuff a little bit. Anyway, so then the High Priest on Warding Splint. So, yeah, he's back on foot. I haven't jumped to try to make him fly. I think I kept him. The only time he died was when that fireball thing went past. And I also, what's called Pillar of Flame. And someone else was saying that I could have taken I don't know if that's true, some way to get away. But one of the tips, and this is, I want to do an article on this in terms of placement of characters and templates and stuff like that, which I think would be an interesting YouTube video. But one of them is with Pillar of Flame is to, if people are firing a lot of Pillar of Flames around, is to make sure you're more than 3 inches away from your units, because then they can't bump through. Like the pillar can't bump through. Whereas my guy would have been too close to the back of something, and that's why it went all the way through.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of those little things that you get more conscious of when you've had it happen to you. You know what I mean? It's like fanatics. If they're firing fanatics everywhere, like, well, don't put your units so close so they don't bump all the way through, Yes, he's Warding Splint and Necromancy. He doesn't have anything else. Again, I'd love to. There's a couple of cool little items that help, cast or dispel easy. Oh, no, there isn't a dispel easy one. There's a cast hex is easier. He probably doesn't actually need it, to be honest. It's fine. Usually this dude's casting at +6. So this is one of the best things about this dual casket, which I think a lot of people don't talk about, which I'll get to. I'll talk about now. Is even if you don't get any of the spells off, you are casting at plus, like if you got 2 of them and you're generally in range of both of them, you're casting at +6. Your mortuary priest
crazy.
level 1 is casting at +3, and if he's got
Yeah,
and
wow.
the dude with the fireball is casting at +4 on Ruby Ring. So it's pretty, it actually makes these level 1s quite useful because they actually can still
because
cast
they
spells.
cast on 3. Yeah, actually.
So
Really
I found
quite
that a
good.
lot where I was able to get spells off, and providing you're not against something really crazy like that infernal puppet and stuff like that. It's pretty useful, and obviously until you can't be in range of them and stuff. But
Would you be tempted to put in more level 1s or level 2s?
Well,
just
maybe,
to
and this
maximize the benefit of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess this is one of the discussions. The Royal Herald, technically an auto include because you get to reroll leadership tests, and so he's the one on foot, battle standard, Amulet of Serpent to give poison attacks, Ruby Ring. You could argue, I guess I've seen some lists, especially on Airspot, where they just don't have a Herald, even though you are losing that reroll. If you did drop the Herald, you could easily fit in more mortuary priests and potentially still divvy out the magic items that he's carrying. I think you need to take a Ruby Ring, and with this list, you want the Amulet of Serpent, so you need to put that somewhere as well.
Yeah.
So that could be
How
an
much
option.
is that? The amulet?
Yeah, it's 30, I think, or 35.
So you can't put it on a champion or anything.
You can in the mortuary priest lists because, hang on, the royal host. One of them, their skeleton ones have a higher. The champs have a higher limit, but not in the normal list. That's a perfect one for that one.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Given Castle Assault has that, it's only one mission around catching standards, so I don't think it's massively important. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of. I don't know. It's one thing I've considered thinking about. Like, well, is it better to have the reroll for your leadership test for a rise, or is it better just have more wizards who can do a rise? Like, try and work out what the best thing is. But
it's matter.
Given given that there's potentially like scream lists, but not huge amounts, but some. There's a lot of things that you're still taking leadership tests, and I do feel like it's good to have that reroll.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Mortuary Priest. Now, this is interesting. This is different to what I did. I had him on Elementalism because I was rolling up occasionally. I rolled up like Windblast, which I liked, and stuff. So, but this is a new thing, and I know it costs points, but I went, it's 30 points, but I went, is this worth doing? Lore Familiar on a level 1.
Yeah, right.
And the reason being is if I've got poison shots, I'd love to have Plague of Rust. So why not just pick Plague of Rust? And then so now I'm able to cast that guy. He's casting at +3 Plague of Rust, and I've got 43 poison archers going at hitting on 5s with poison, and I've dropped your armor save down. But in other games where maybe you're playing, say, Wood Elves, you go, okay, well, I'll pick, I don't know, I'll pick Windblast or something.
Yeah.
So you're making him a little bit more useful.
Flexibility.
Yeah, just for 30 points. I don't know.
I think that's a payoff there.
If it was just a level 1 casting at +1, it's a waste of time. But because hopefully he's casting at +3, you can actually use him.
Yeah.
Because the choice would be that's 30 points that you could equally spend on making him level 2, isn't it? So to be
but I mean,
that's a trade-off. But then you got 2 spells, but they're completely randomized. I agree. I think you're getting more utility out of just picking the one spell, because you've got specific spells. I think that combo well, as you say, with a massive block of poison shooting.
Yeah.
That
was the logic behind
totally
it.
Justified. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
The other thing I've found, a lot of people taking Lore Familiar where they probably should just take, especially on level 4s, where they probably should just take what's the other one that just gives you extra spell? Is it the same points? Or is it more? What is that? Lore Familiar?
It's a different familiar. A spell familiar or something? I can't remember. It gives you an extra.
Yeah, Arcane Familiar is half the points. And if you're a level 4, why not just use that anyway and go to level 5? And the chances you'll get the spell you want anyway, because you're rolling.
1 in 6 games you won't get the spell you want.
Yeah, yeah, true. So it depends how critical it is, but yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's the characters, and then for core, yeah. So this is really for castle. You know, I've got 2 9 units of horse archers.
Yeah, that's really good.
Just to weather some of the damage, but potentially come back if they can get back. It depends. Obviously, it depends where my wizards are, but to try and get in range of getting healing, I can bump them back up. But I thought if they were just 5, it's too easy to knock them down.
Just
Whereas
take one off.
9.
Yeah.
I might be able to keep at least 1 running around and be over unit strength 10 to at least get an objective.
Yeah, that's good.
And they can move 16 inches.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's ample. Like you could go to 7 safely.
Yeah,
I would argue.
No, and that's something I might still play with. The problem is the core points.
Yes.
I'm starting to get into the point where, well, what else am I putting those core into?
Yeah.
I'm just adding more skeleton archers. I might as well just have them in their horse archers. They're still hitting on 5s, you know. I mean, there won't be poison, so maybe that is worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's multiplying your combat res through, you know, your standing and shooting and that type of thing. Like the more you, I know it's awful to say this, but the bigger that block is, the harder it is to get into combat with it. Just because the amount of shooting it'll put out when he gets charged.
Yeah.
And then 2 skeleton chariots by themselves, and then the 43 skeleton archers with a standard bearer just for that mission, and then that'll be the big bunker. And sorry, I should be muting. And the thing I want to make use of here, and that's going to be one of these videos that Andrew and I think I talked to you about, Andrew, but is depending on the width of this guy, is like where to place these my high priest and stuff, and really be deliberate about what side of the units they go on based on where the threat is coming. Because I think one of the things that I'm learning, and plus I don't know if a lot of people, I mean, I think people know about this, but I don't know if they pick up on it too much. It's the whole having to charge the shortest path, I think, is a huge change in old world. And I think that can protect your character depending on width and stuff. So like, and I might be wrong here, but this is how I'm viewing it. Like, you know, like if I've got a fairly wide unit and I put my necromancer out on the right because I know there's the unit I'm scared about or the character I'm scared about is over on my left, then unless he comes right round, he can't get me. Like, you know what I mean? Because if he charges my unit, he has to charge the left side of my unit and hit me in the front. And so now my guy's not in combat. Now, obviously, if you get dual charged and all that, you can't really do it. But if you do, if you be a bit smart with where you put your characters, they can stay out of the
harm's way
combat a bit more.
Yeah.
But it just takes thinking about, well, who might charge this unit and where are they coming from, and make sure that, because the other thing is you can't just move your character around when you're in there. You can make way to fight if it's on another rank or whatever, or you in a challenge, obviously you can do that. But you can't just move units around unless you're reforming. Is that right? Like characters around. Like if you're just sitting there on the turn, you can't just move your characters around in the front rank. Like, so where you place them,
it's quite
kind of
critical.
important. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of interesting. But anyway, that's what I'm planning on. Hopefully try to keep them alive a bit more if I can think ahead that much, which you probably can't. But we'll see how we go. The other thing too is like what I found in the other games, that more often than not, I end up with that spell that allows me to move out of the unit and cast that remains in play spell and make him ethereal and fly anyway. So you can try to keep him alive. And then 2 Tomb Scorpions. I do have ambushing on them for this one, and that's purely, again, for the missions that maybe if I want to like ambush and be back in... Now, they don't have unit strength 10, but there was a couple of those ones where you can just, if you can get, cross that end unit, or... I don't know. And again, this might not... That's 10 points I can free up if I drop Ambusher, but that's... Because I don't know if I would use it all the time, but it's just an option. I didn't have it in my last game tournament. I thought maybe I will just to play around.
It'll be
with
handy.
It. Yeah. And then 2 caskets and Necrosphinx. So, yeah.
Double casket.
So that is it. That's and I guess, look, I mean, I don't know, like it's. Yeah, I think it can. Obviously with the dragon, it can just tanks tank stuff. It's just down to whether or not you get some of these spells off, and it's going to come down to, like, I didn't get really anything out of my Tomb Guard, and that's mostly my fault. But I felt like even if I'm playing as bad as that, I think these archers would do more than the Tomb Guard would have, because at least they can reach out and hit people.
Yeah.
So
Was it
that
pretty much a straight swap in the list? Like, how much was the Tomb Guard worth?
it's pretty close. I think the difference was I might have had 2 smaller units of the horse archers, and trying to think what else I had in there. Maybe they were a little bit more, because I had 2 units of 5 skeleton horse archers, 2 skeleton chariots, and whatever it was, 19 or 20, 21 or 22 Tomb Guard. So
Right.
they're actually less, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's going
And 43 skeletons is going to be.
Yeah. It'll punch out some hurt.
It could take a big hit and lose half of them from death and crumble and still be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you get a nice hill to put them on, just to get extra rank.
well, that's going to be
My
the biggest,
God.
isn't it? That positioning them and the casket, and that these guys can be slightly useful, is going to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Well, true. That's true.
So, is what it is. But yeah.
How wide would you deploy them?
I don't know. Somewhere in that
'Cause
12.
obviously they can't all shoot 12
to
wide.
14.
So like
Or
4
maybe do
ranks
like
in a horde, basically.
10 and drop them out to like in 15, 10 and 15 if I want to do a redress.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's called.
Yeah. Okay.
But 15's pretty big, because that's 15 inches wide.
Yeah. That is really wide, isn't it?
Yeah. And look, they're
'cause
not going to put out
like
that
this-
much. If they're not moving, I'll get the spells off. I'll get the sorry, you're right.
You'd want to, whenever you deploy them, it'd be an odd number, so you're getting an extra one
No,
shooting
you're right.
in the
Sorry.
rear
Yeah,
ranks. Would be
I
good.
did think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remembered that. So yes, that. The other thing I thought of, I mean, I would have to drop a spell for this, but my Necro could drop, my High Priest could drop, like get the. So this is the problem. This is where I did start thinking I want another spellcaster, because I'd love to have the reroll 1s to hit, or like spell, which I can just switch to. But also, it's also interesting if you could get the reserve spell, reserve move 1, to allow these guys to reserve move, because then at least you could shoot, volley fire if you can, if they're in range. If not, next turn, like reserve move up.
Yeah.
And then next turn you're in a bit closer, but you can still volley fire or something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, because you haven't moved. Yeah, you shoot.
Or does it not really matter? Just move up in that first turn and just shoot.
I don't think you
don't
can
volley
volley
fire.
Well, yeah, so you lose your volley fire then.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, does it really matter if you're out of range? Because the reserve moves after, like, shooting. It's almost like you might as well just moved up.
Yeah,
if you
start
move
out
in
of
to get
range-
into range, you're out of range anyway, so you might as well just move up. Like,
Well, yeah. Is your range 30 inches, or is it 30 or 24?
nah,
The
24.
24.
Oh, 24. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyway, I think there's a
Fair
banner that gives it to you as well, so I could have a look at that and drop some stuff. Like if I drop some of those points down.
I reckon it'll be handy. I reckon you'll move it. If you had reserve move, I think you'd definitely use it, probably in a couple of games. It'll
Yeah.
just be a situation where you're going to have to move, and you're going to want more movement than your standard.
I might have a look and see what
Very
that.
plausible.
I mean, I can't remember. Oh, hang on, these guys. These guys don't
Yeah.
get the magic banner. That's
I mean,
right.
it essentially
Hume.
gives you the ability to march and shoot, essentially, which is still quite useful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this Banner of the Desert Winds. It is only 30. So you actually get Vanguard as well.
Oh, Vanguard as well. Oh, that's even better. Because that way
maybe-
you can move them up, and then does
Yeah.
Vanguard, if Vanguard moved, does that cancel volley fire?
I have to check.
Ooh.
Because it'd be a move
You
before
haven't
the
moved
game
in
starts,
your movement.
right?
Yeah,
I don't.
No.
I don't think
I
it
don't
would.
think it would.
Yeah. Yeah, so that makes
Well,
it
it's only
really
4
peaceful.
inches, but yeah.
So that's 30 points. So that way, then I'm going to have to strip, like you take the ambush off that to get back 10 points. I can only lose 9 points here.
Yeah.
So
May have to
I'm going to
drop
have
a
to
couple of
find.
archers or something.
Yeah, but I still know. I'm
Because
going
it'll
to
be-
have to drop something
Yeah.
character-wise, which starts getting a bit annoying.
Or some of your horse archers, because the thing is that's going into
No,
core, isn't that banner going into your core?
Nah.
It's going on the
Who are you
best
putting the banner? Oh, it's on the BSB. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's I can't have the.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, that's something to have a think about. I'll have a look and see what options I got to play around there. Yeah, it's getting very lean. At some point, you just go, well, I can't do it. I can't do
This
it.
is Warhammer. This is Warhammer. You can't
That's
put
right.
everything you want.
Yeah. Cool.
No, I think it's a
Anyway.
good list as is anyway. Yeah, even if you don't do that.
Yeah. Cool. Did you end up sending me anything, Andrew? Or
Nah, I was going to share my screen.
Oh, cool. Okay. That works.
Because both of them were in your recruit. Because
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm an idiot.
That's it. New recruit's good too.
It is. Yeah.
Actually, sorry, here I am rambling. I haven't checked this. I haven't committed this to Old World Builder yet, but I did start building the game view edition of having unit strength in there and your breaking points. So I'm going to try to get that in for a pull request for them, because I just feel like that's so much better to be able to what your unit strength, your whole army is, and what number you need to break and stuff, and actually have it right there. But anyway,
that would
it's
be
one
good.
thing I like about Old World Builder. It's easier to commit some of these changes.
Yeah.
If you're a programmer.
Cool. Am I up on screen?
Yep.
Yeah, sweet. So this is just a tweak. So obviously I've done 2 tourneys now with these dwarves and sort of found their weaknesses to a certain extent. But I've got the same sort of problem that Gomo had, where you've only got so many points to get runes on, especially with your king. So the premise around this one was basically to drop the Battle Standard Bearer with the Stromny Redbeard rune. So instead of going for like a combat res buff on everybody, I've got the 5-up ward for the unit.
That's the Master and the Grunt.
Yeah,
Grunt. Yeah, because I see people take that. Okay, cool. I've got it.
So I've thrown that in, but the problem I've got here is I now need to put the Thane and the King in the same unit.
Same unit.
Because the King
Becomes
now,
a massive Death Star.
Yeah, he's got his basically he's using that 5-up ward as his sort of, to keep him alive. So I've sort of leaned down his survivability a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically he's running a Rune of Warding, so that's your 2-up save. So you'd be using that against things like Killing Blow and multi-wounds, but you only get one of them. Rune of Fury, so he's going to have 5 attacks. Rune of Smiting, so we have D6 wounds. I could see this would have been so much better when I was in, attacking the Doom Bull, things like that, the Dragon. It just gives him the ability to some killing power, basically. Other than that, he's pretty much like he was the other day. The Rune Lord is pretty much exactly the same. The only thing I did do is I've given him a Rune of Fury just to give him an extra attack, because now he's going to be in the other unit by himself, just to give him a bit more oomph to the unit. And I also put that Master Rune of Balance, because that's the one where you roll the extra D6.
Oh, you said. So good. Yeah. So,
you can only use it once, but yeah.
Is it? Oh, hang on. Is that different? What do you mean you only use it once?
Like once per phase, I thought, for one dispel, I think.
Oh, okay. Maybe I got rorted then in that game, because we were doing that all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna
hang on.
Is
that the one I'm talking about, where you go? If you're in 18 inches of him, you've got he dispels.
Surely it's in here somewhere.
Balance.
Anvil of
Oh,
Doom.
once
Yeah,
per
once per
turn.
turn. The bearer of, yeah, once per turn.
Okay, once per turn, not just once.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, once per turn.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that.
I
Oh,
can't remember.
I said sorry, I said once, and then I said, oh yeah, once per turn.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, okay, yeah, might be right. I can't remember what the guy was. I think he might have only used it once per turn. I can't remember. I just remember it was hard to get spells off sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's only the once per turn. Which it's probably good when you're trying to just get rid of that one spell.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so the Thane, as we've said, Rune of Warding. So and again, this guy, this is the problem. I'm like, well, do I keep him on bloody shield bearers or not? Because now, basically, yeah, like you said, it's a big Death Star, and it's are people just going to avoid it because
it's hard to
Dwarf.
engage with you.
Yeah,
like
what's
that.
that up to now? Because he's 249.
Adds up to a lot, yeah. 249 plus 309.
I mean, which isn't technically bad.
My God,
but, you're right. Like,
and
who's gonna...
it's so slow moving as well. Like you can't force people to engage with it necessarily either.
But
the only
I mean, let's think about the castle.
Well, the drill helps.
Like, things here. Like there's one about end the game with opponent's most expensive unit destroyed or fleeing. Now that's just unit, isn't it? So that would only just be the unit, would it? Or would that be?
Yeah.
Well, that's where it's going to be anyway, because it's going to be in the Longbeards.
Yeah. So they're going to have to kill that unit, but to do that, the other dudes are in there. Then you've got the unit strength one, so they're going to have to break that down. That's that second game.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still questioning what this is going to do with your other movement ones you need. But yeah, carry on. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I figured, if you got the Longbeards and the Ironbreakers right next to each other, it's like, well, that's most of my army. So I'm like, well, if you're not engaging with anything, then it's like, well, it's kind of one of those things. But anyway, I've got 14 Longbeards. I've got drilled. I can't believe I did not notice this before, but Rune of Passage, it's like 5 points, and again, it gives you like move through cover. And I'm like, you can put it on your Longbeards, the Elder, and I'm like, that is
nice. That is very good value.
It is. So that
so
last
is that always over every difficult terrain? You just always or danger.
Essentially, always ignores it.
Yeah. I think something. Oh, what does it do? Rune of Passage. Or you might be able to re-roll. Where is it? Rune of Battle. Rune of Smiting. Rune of Passage. Yeah, the bearer of this rune of passage gains move through cover special rule, and the unit joined by this bearer also gains unit through cover special rule. Should the bearer leave the unit for any reason, the unit loses this rule. So yeah, you gain move through cover, which is really good. Where are we?
Look that one up again, just so. Yeah, do not suffer any movement characteristics. In addition, a model with this special may reroll any ones when making dangerous terrain tests. So does that mean they still drop when they charge? They still have to take
maybe the lowest dice.
Yeah,
possibly,
but they don't suffer any movement characteristics.
The -1. Yeah.
Oh.
Or to march, you wouldn't suffer. Well,
no, that's right. Yeah.
But you still get the charging impediment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Which is arguably the worst part.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Yeah, it is.
That's a limitation to move through cover in general.
Yeah, especially for dwarves.
Yeah. I was thinking
we need everything we can get.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So really, there's no unit in the game that can. Like, I'm just thinking. So wood elves charging through a wood, they got moved through cover, right? They still get the impediment to the charge roll.
I'd be guessing so, unless they got another rule.
Yeah, unless they have another specific rule. I'm just like that. I'm just surprised that rule is so limited. I am taking you all on a wild tangent.
Yes. All good. Rangers, so 15 Rangers again. I had to drop a gyrocopter, so I'm just taking 2 gyrocopters with brimstone guns. So if I do come across possibly a Bretonnian player with his horn, I can use these guys as a little fixed gun sort of emplacement. So they wouldn't be too bad. It'll be almost like a mini war machine because they can only move one, basically, if you can't fly. With the Falcon Horn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 14 iron breakers. I gave these guys drill this time.
Mhm.
And yeah, so and then 3 units of iron drakes. So it's quite similar. Basically, I was just swapping out the Stromny for the rune of Rugni, and just seeing how that goes. But like I said, the biggest issue I had was going to be the King and the Thane in the same unit because it's like I was almost thinking, what's the point in having long beards? I may as well almost run a warrior block because
Yeah, and just more people, more
Yeah.
bodies.
because I'm not going to have any bloody long beards really fighting here, am I?
Nah,
It's just going to
not
be.
really. It's a good point. Yeah.
But I ended up going with the long beards because they do have little buffs compared to the warriors. And I worked out the points. I was only going to get a couple more warriors, so it's not like I was going to get 30 warriors for the same points.
Right. Yeah.
And then this is the vampire counts list, which
But so just before we jump to the vampire one, so how do you think that's going to go again with some of those, getting deployment zones, unit strength 10, like which units can do that? Like it's
the problem I've got is obviously movement, but I
Yeah.
feel like if I went from my last 2 tournaments with this list, I reckon I would have maybe got another 10 points possibly
right.
out of it. Maybe even more. Just depends on how this king goes against dragons, because I mean, the end of the day, you're probably going to come up against a dragon at some point, and he's got the same sort of thing. It's like, well, he can't sit back and just get shot by my Iron Drake, so he's going to want to engage with something, and there's not too much to engage with, really. You've got Longbeards. I mean, Rangers are going to be out somewhere, but you got Longbeards and Ironbreakers, so they're right next to each other. So if you position it all together, I'm hoping that you can kind of have it all within striking range of each other, if you get me. So, but anyway, we'll see how that goes. Besides movement, do you guys see anything compared to obviously the scenarios as being a major factor that this list might be weak in?
No, I mean that's the thing. It's more just that movementy ones, getting
Yeah.
across the board, getting in the flanks, the opponent flank. Although
flanks,
was
yeah.
that a unit strength one? I can't remember.
Yeah, unit strength
the-
10 in the flanking
Even
zone.
for
Yeah.
the flanks as well. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the ranges there
Yeah.
potentially.
It's just a dwarf problem in general, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
not so
I
much-
mean,
yeah.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, unless you went crazy and did bigger units of gyros or something, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
only unit strength 3, 2, are they? Well, no, what are they? Monstrous creatures. What are they listed as? No, they're listed as
Yeah, I think they're 3 each because
Monstrous infantry,
they're
whatever they are.
monstrous cav.
Cav. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So
you still need 4,
yeah,
and then all
Yeah.
you need to do is lose one, and suddenly you're not that
Yeah.
anymore. So
exactly. And I don't know what Kendall's going to do with those gyrocopters because I reckon 2 units at 3 is probably the max you'd let in.
yeah,
They start getting a bit,
Yeah, for sure.
getting a bit powerful.
Yeah.
Cool. So vamps. This has been vetted already. So, Kendall was sort of happy with this list, although I might have to change it just because the unit strength 10. So I might just change some numbers around with my core. But yeah, Master Necromancer is running the Talisman of Protection for his 5-up. He's got the Hand of Dust, which is an assailment spell. Not that I'll be throwing him to too much combat, but just sometimes you might have those little flanking units you might want him to jump in at.
Yeah.
Scepter Denora gives him the 2 of the raise spells instead of the 1. As you know, he's on an Abyssal Terror, which I'm painting up at the moment. So he's going to be level 4 and my general. And I think I was going to have him running Necromancy for the moment because Necromancy is pretty good. Gomo's favourite is my Strigoi Ghoul King, although heaps of people run this build. He's on the Terrorgeist.
With the Auger Blade.
Yeah, with the Ogre Blade. I'm not too sure if I should run him as a level 2 wizard. I'm just.
Do you reckon? No, he's the Ogre Blade, so I probably would be okay throwing my dragon into that guy.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have the Monster Slayer.
No.
But because how defensive is he?
He's only got his 5 up regen and a 6 up on the Terraghost. 6 up, just armor save, which is pretty much not
but he's
worth
friggin', he's fast. I remember he's what's his initiative? It's ridiculous.
It's like initiative 6. I think his strength 7 with the Ogre Blade. He's got hatred, so
so he's re-rolling. He's hitting me on 3s re-rolling and then wounding on 5s, but re-rolling them. But then D3 wounds when he gets through. Like it'd still take a couple of turns of really good rolling to kill my dragon, and then hopefully by then you could kill this thing. But it'd be close still.
Yeah, it would be. Plus it's got his scream, but I mean,
it depends if I got leadership debuffed or not.
That's all it. Because I mean, if you're in your -2 to hit aura, I'd be in a world of hurt.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah, it's those type of things. Yeah.
Running my White Lord on Skeletal Steed. He's literally just there to be a BSB for the reroll of leadership. Only for the using the raise spells, basically. The Invocation of Nehek. I'm running two units of 4 Bat Swarms. As Gomo knows, I'm starting to love these guys. So they got 5 wounds base, 5 attacks, weapon skill 3, but they're only strength toughness 2. But just that weapon skill 3 just helps.
You can raise them back too. That's the it's 20 wounds to get through, but plus
20.
It's surprisingly good weapon skill. That's better weapon skill than my men at arms.
It helps.
Bloody bat swarm.
Bat swarm. Plus they're fly 7, so they get to march basically, which is really good. And then with the Strigoi Ghoul King, he's got Lord of Night, so he can raise I think D6 to those guys within 12 inches.
That's
so
good.
We'll see how that goes. I got 2 units of 10 Crypt Ghouls. I was thinking possibly of raising these to 13 or 14. 2 units.
Your Bat Swarms, what was their unit strength again? We looked at that. What was that?
I forget.
I can't remember what the swarm was now. Was it 4 or 3 as well?
I'm not expecting these guys to live, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll see how I go. Because obviously I need to run. You know what undead's like. Usually have something as a bit of chaff.
3 swarms of 3.
Yeah. So that might be pushing it, unless I can raise them. Direwolves, so 2 units of 5 direwolves. Direwolves quite popular at the moment because they're so cheap. So, but I just don't have the points. So I would have liked to run more direwolves, but anyway. Got 5 Blood Knights. Got the Paymaster's Coin on my champ because these guys did quite well last time. Again, I'd like more than 5, but I've only got so many points. And I don't know if this is good or not, running a second Terraghost, because the Terraghosts aren't... I mean, they're only 205 points, but they're not great in combat. Or they're not fantastic.
Yeah, but they're not, but attacks. I feel like when you look across the board and you see 2 Terraghosts and that... Yeah, I mean, the Abyssal Terror is not going to be going at you because it's your Necromancer, but at the same time, it still looks like, oh, crap. There's 3 flying things hanging around, and then you forget the other army. Like, potentially your other units here could be doing some... Oh, no, I mean, like the Blood Knights can obviously do a lot. I wonder if you get... There's no way you can get another 6, like a 6th Blood Knight, is there?
Oh,
too many points.
Yeah, what am I going to lose?
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
My rare's pretty chockers at the moment.
Yeah, well, because you got the second Terraghost there.
Yeah, well, that's it.
You drop in, you got plenty of space.
Got plenty of space. But yeah, I don't know. Like for a list, I think it's not too bad. It's not stupid competitive. Like there's huge weaknesses. Like this necromancer, I mean, you blow him out of the water and
Yeah.
and is not terribly protected. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think?
Well, this one scares me more than the dwarf one. In terms of for castle, like in terms of like being able to dish out damage, but also get some of those objectives, probably.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a bit of a glass cannon. It's like those things.
Yeah,
Like the,
it is.
the Ghoul
It is
Kings.
just the big things. Yeah, those things.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of them, the rest of it's not so scary.
Yeah.
Because even the blood
it's interesting.
knights are tough, but they're only still one wound, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's no big blocks at all. Like it's all just skirmishing things. And
What's your most expensive unit there? It is the Skull King, so you got to yeah, so you got to take him out to get that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like we're saying, he's only got a bloody 5-up regen. So yeah, it's
What
not the
spells
scariest
would you be hoping
guy
to
out
get
there.
with him?
I'm not
He's
too sure.
Level 2 battle magic, like
Yeah,
what was
like I was thinking it's got between that. I think it's illusion or dark. I'm not set on battle just yet. I'll put it in there because the Salmon spell I think is in battle.
But is
magic.
illusion better to try and punk having the ogre blade?
Oh, I'd have to check if he is illusion, but I think he is.
Okay.
Or it might be the standard.
Doppelganger, but then you might have to find 30 points and make him 500 points.
Yeah, well, that's
to get lore familiar.
Yeah, it could be the normal vampire that's illusion. I might be getting mixed up here, but yeah, I need to play around this list a little bit. Definitely, maybe drop 1 unit of wolves and bump up my 2 crypt ghouls.
Yeah.
Not that I can really bump them up by March, but maybe 12. We'll see.
No, that's cool. So yeah, what are you leaning towards, the vamp still, or?
Oh, it's down painting. Yeah, I found the dwarves quite static last time, so yeah, it can get a little bit boring. Depends on the matchup.
Yeah. I suspect you'll have more fun with the vamps, flying around everywhere, hitting flanks.
It would be easier being dwarfs if you're having lots of beers.
Yes, true. That's true. Yeah.
But that's right. We'll see how I go. It's all about painting because I need to put my other Terragos together and paint him.
Oh, and the Abyssal Terror. And the Bat Swarms.
And the Bat
Or have you got enough Bat Swarms with the old ones? No.
Nah, I'm 2 down. But
yeah,
I'll be able to sort something out, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Awesome. Okay.
Can I briefly talk about the my potential list just briefly?
Yeah.
Because there was one thing I actually played the Green Knight incorrectly last week.
Ooh.
Only discovered on the YouTube channel is that he can actually move the turn he appears. He can charge the turn he appears.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
Massive difference.
Oh, the turn he appears. Okay, cool.
Yes. Because I misread it because there's a little ability he has where he can actually teleport between terrain pieces. And when he does that, he can't move after he's teleported. But if some reason in my head I had that as that he also could
even when he appears he can't
when he appears in the terrain piece. That's not the case. So it literally gives him an whole extra turn of not only a whole extra turn of activity because he can do the turn he arrives.
Yeah.
It's also something that my opponent can't respond to. Like it's just like it just suddenly he appears somewhere and charges, which is slightly awful, really. But it swayed me back towards bringing him because I was all set on taking, a Baron on a peg and Silver Duke and Baron or something like that. But I think it will take the Green Knight. The only other thing I'll probably change from the list that I took to Gathering Darkness is I think I'm going to swap out the men at arms. Swap in men at arms for the 2 units of archers.
Okay.
Just a little unit of 16 because they're hard to take down. I think they just because they got shield wall and they're just a big unit of bodies. I think they'd be good just to take a charge. And the fact that they're actually fewer points than the 2 units of archers means actually can finally fit in 2 units of scouting squires rather than just the one.
Nice.
So I've got a little bit more extra chaff.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
yeah, I think I might end up doing something like this as my list, guys. Yeah, but yeah, I couldn't believe it when they were like, you can charge for the Green Knight. I think it was Gilthos's comment on the YouTube channel.
Right, I didn't read
And
that
I
one,
was
but
like-
that surprised
I
me.
was like,
Yeah, it's good to
shit!
have good
My
listeners who
God,
know what they're doing.
Gilthos.
Gilthos. Is the rules is the umpire. He knows what's going on.
Who knows? Yeah.
Every time. It's like,
You
you guys are
never-
amateurs.
No bloody army. Surprising he still listens to us. He knows
Yeah,
more
yeah.
about the game than we do.
These amateurs.
Oh,
No,
That's
that's cool.
good.
Might try and get. I mean, by the time people listen to this, it won't really matter. But I might try and get a hobby hour happening this week as well. So maybe he's around. I don't know, because he said he might be. He set up a mic and everything ready to jump on a call
nice.
at some point when we're doing a live stream. So
nice.
yeah,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the show. I think bit of a interesting.
Bit of a mixed bag of stuff, isn't it? All
Yeah.
over the place.
So actually, just quickly on mine. So you guys think the archers are the right things? I really need to paint them. Is that right? I better start putting them together properly. I just started putting them together. I didn't finish anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Have you got any ones you can print? Because that way you don't have to put them together. You can just print them off and.
Could, but I mean, then they won't
Command
match
them.
the other 20 I've already done. So I'll probably just
I
do.
know.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually would rather the other ones are better, but anyway. Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, guys, unless you have anything else.
Nah. We
We've
should
got
have
a-
some.
Is this 2 hours we've done? I thought it was going to be a short
Yeah.
episode.
I know. I don't know why I say it every time. got to keep something for people to paint to. That's what they like. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
awesome. Anyway, thanks for listening to another Old World Fanatics episode. If you enjoy our weekly ramblings, please leave us a 5-star review or hit the like, subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching on there. And like I said at the beginning of the show, if you feel like becoming a patron, just jump over to patreon.com/oldworldfanatics and you'll get added over to our Discord and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, big thank you to all our existing patrons. And thanks for listening
guys.
to another episode of Old World Fanatics. And Josh and Andrew, I'll talk to you during the week. Thanks, guys.
Yes. Thanks.
See ya.
Ciao.
Yeah.